our prayer and in our obedience. Praise the Lord. So as children, love prays to God. You cannot have a relationship with God without speaking to God. You cannot have a relationship with God and be praying to God only on Sundays. You cannot have a relationship with God and be talking to God only when maybe things are not working well. Do you understand? So as children, the kind of love you have for God is a love that you have to develop a relationship. And how do you develop a relationship? Is by praying. When you pray, God answers your prayers. He gives you an experience of God, and He tells you what God can do. Because when you pray and God answers your prayers, He helps your faith in God. So love prays to God. Anna talked to God instead of complaining. Anna is one of the wives of Elkanah. And she didn't have a child, but she wasn't complaining up and down. There was a time she was just there. She was not really praying deeply, like, God, answer my prayer. If you look at this lesson today, it said she prayed in anguish and the Lord heard her. So love keeps promises. What are the things that you have told yourself that you are going to be doing? Even with your parents, your parents will correct you and say, please, I don't like you doing this. Make sure you say, oh, I promise I will always do that. But are you keeping to these promises? When you make promises, both to your parents and to God, you have to ensure that you keep your promises. That's the only way we can experience God more. She gave Samuel back to God as she has promised. So love gives back to God. Anna's love was shown by her action. When God has preserved you and has blessed you and you are seeing another year and you are growing each day, do you appreciate God or do you complain? As a child, God is telling us to always appreciate Him. God is telling us to always give thanksgiving, because that's the major thing we have to give. And if you promise God anything as a child or as an adult, it is very important that we keep to our promises. And it shows that we love God when you do that. Love trusts God's timing. She waited patiently for God's answer. Even though when you pray, there are times that you will pray for something and you will get them immediately. And there are times that God will tell you that to wait. And when those time of waiting comes, as a child, you need to learn to wait for God. That's why I tell children, when you ask for snacks and your mom and dad says, oh, you need to wait, and you are crying, it's going to be very hard for you to wait for God if you don't learn how to wait for your parents that you can see. Because sometimes when you pray to God, you don't get your answers immediately. Sometimes God builds your faith up and tells you to wait. And when this time comes, would you be discouraged? Would you be tired? No. As a child, as an adult, God wants us to wait for Him because He is very faithful. Whatever God